Hey everybody, my name's Ray. This is the beautiful Berkeley Marina, Berkeley, California, and you're watching Qlik Branch. Let's do some coding. In the last video, we created our filters, and now we're going to give those filters the interactivity that allows users to make selections on their data. So to get started, we need to create a function that allows us to tell the engine to make those selections. So we'll name the function make selection, and this will take two parameters. The first parameter will be the field name, and then the second parameter will be the value of the field that we want to actually make a selection on. So the first thing that we need to do within the engine is we need to select a field, or not select a field, but get a field. So to do that, we do this .document get field, and we pass in the field name. And now that we have this field, we actually want to toggle the selection on that field with the given value. And that's as simple as this function is going to be. All we have to do is we have to get the field and we have to make the selection on the field, or toggle the selection. We use toggle select here because we want to use the same function to say if they click on a filter again, on the same value on a filter again, we want to unselect that value. So that was the first thing we had to do. Next, we're actually going to update the CSS here, and we're going to add in a couple of CSS classes for our state. So if you remember correctly in the last video, what we were doing is we were actually assigning a custom CSS class based on the state of the data itself. And so what we're doing now is we're actually creating those classes to say when it is that specific state, we want to have it be a specific color. So for our selected, we've gone with this value here. Our alternative, which would be values that are still available to select within a field, are going to be this gray here, and then excluded, which are values that are outside of the selections that the user's currently made, is going to be this dark gray right here. So we've got our engine service, our engine function created. We've gotten our CSS applied, and the next thing that we have to do is we have to actually create an action for when the user clicks. So when the user clicks, we want to have a function called select value fired, and it takes in a specific value. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do Enigma service dot make selection. And what we will do is we'll take the field as the field name that we want to pass, and then we will pass in the value. Now, what we could do is just pass in a value, but if you remember in the previous video, we actually created that none option to show whether or not to show values that actually don't have anything in them. So what we're going to do is we're going to say if it's none, then we want to pass in an empty string. Otherwise, we want to pass the value. So what that'll do is that'll make sure that if they choose that none, that we then pass an empty string on to select in that field. And so that is our function to actually do the select value. And the only other thing that we have to do here is add an onClick, saying when the user clicks, what we want to do here is we want to call this select value with the value that's given. Simple enough. And now if we go over, we could see that when a user clicks on a value, our data automatically updates. So we've written a little bit of CSS. We've written 9 lines of CSS. We've written 4 lines over in our Enigma service, and we've added in an extra 7 lines to our filter. And now we have all this interactive capability of users making selections and our data automatically updating. So because we're leveraging the reactive powers of the engine, we had to write minimal code in order to get this to actually work. And you can see here we've got a green for a selected, we've got the light gray for values we can also select. So if we want approved or not rated, for example. If we look over in these other filters, you can see the white, which is values that are still able to select within that field, and the dark gray, which is excluded values from the list of existing data. So from this, we can tell that there are no movies in our data from the United Arab Emirates that are either approved or not rated. They only have specific other ratings. So there we go. With just a few lines of code, we've given the users the ability to start gaining insights into the data without us having to write any long or annoying queries. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel and update your notifications so you get notified when we release our next videos. Join the Slack channel. It's available in a link down below. That'll give you access to all the Qlik experts, all the people who know all the awesome stuff having to do with the Qlik ecosystem. Go to developer.qlik.com if you want to get more information on Qlik and Qlik as a developer, and we'll see you in the next video.